Good morning, chat. I apologize for any air noise. It's warm in my room and it's also 8 a.m. and I should be in bed because I haven't slept yet. But instead I'm making this video. But that's aside from the point. Today I wanted to highlight the differences between the different versions of Big Shot I've uploaded. And one of them that I haven't, I'm not entirely sure. It's 4 versions of Big Shot and there are differences between them. Most notably between the second most recent one I uploaded and the most recent one I uploaded, on account of it being an entirely different save file. But anyway, let's get into it. Starting with the opening. So this is the first version that I uploaded to YouTube. Already you can tell that there's already a few differences from the source material. That being the background saw wave. I'll highlight the differences here. The way that it was in this first version is like this. When instead it should have been like this. There's not a whole lot of notable differences in the first opening bit, so I'll skip to a place where there are noticeable differences. The primary differences in the first half of that section come from the mixing, whereas the second half come from the way that the Earthbound Venus instrument and the violin are presented. There's a very obvious difference when you listen to the two side by side. One is more reverberant, whereas the other lacks any kind of reverb at all. Another example of terrible mixing comes later in the song, during a section that I've lovingly labeled Grind Lead. The problem in this area comes from how the Final Fantasy guitar is far too loud compared to the saxophone, or the Moonside Cafe instrument from the Earthbound sound font. However, in version 4, the saxophone takes much more of a lead, drowning out the Final Fantasy guitar, and giving more of a vibe. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but it sounds better. There's just one more part earlier in the song that I want to touch on before moving on to the last bit, and it's the freedom motif. The lead of this part doesn't really have much of note, there's not really any differences. However, what I want to focus on is the power of Neo backing in this segment. You get the idea. I'm stopping the second example now because I don't want to cause hearing damage for anybody watching this video. But that's neither here nor there. without further ado, I want to move on to the last section of this video so that I can properly end it. So now I want to highlight the differences between all of the different Power of Neo portions. You know, at the end of the song where Toby sampled Power of Neo, I decided that was too hard and decided to recreate how the Power of Neo sample sounded, instead of using the isolation that's just out there on the fucking internet, because I hate myself apparently, but that's aside from the point. I recreated it. It sounds different in all of these versions. I want to highlight the differences. Let's fucking get into it.